And now we have to wait for it to go live. Starting.
I think we're live now.
Oh, yours go so much quicker than me usually. Waiting for it.
I've got notification. You're live.
I'm live. Okay, we're doing it live.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thing is, every time I do this, I always end up.
please.
I also have a few seconds at the beginning.
It's all right. I have a cat on my lap, and she sometimes rubs her head on the microphone.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
Okay, so we are here to discuss the new episode of Star Trek, which we watched today. Rushed home.
It was quite dark, wasn't it?
It was very dark today. Yeah, I was quite surprised by the tone of this episode.
Yes.
Like the storyline kind of came out of nowhere. Like it's yet again, like I don't know. You said earlier on about well, not earlier on, like late in an earlier review about how the Star Trek universe usually has like episodes that don't really bleed into each other.
Yeah.
Like the storyline's quite insular. Have you noticed that that's kind of still a thing? Like, so there's still a beginning, middle, and end to every episode. They're still very insular, still very standalone. There's just an arc that's running over it, which the more this is going on, the thinner that arc is starting to seem for me.
Yeah.
It definitely is starting to feel a little bit less important, put it that way. I'm not sure whether that's just because of the way it's kind of being written so far, and because like obviously we're looking at this in a micro scale, because obviously macro wise it may change, but I just really feel like it's a little bit less as story driven as I thought it was going to be. Not to take away from the fact the episodes are very good, but they're very different to what I was expecting from Star Trek, and this episode was definitely a huge departure.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah. So obviously we had the was it tardigrade sort of thing?
Yes, the tardigrade. I liked how it started because it was Michael's dream sequence, wasn't it?
Yes.
She could see herself inside the device.
Very creepy. Very creepy.
Yes, but I like how they titled it. This episode is called "Choose Your Pain."
Yes, obviously based off the not just obviously based off the whole prison sequence.
But I think it was for Michael as well, and for Lieutenant Stentz, isn't it?
Stamets, isn't it?
Stamets, that's it.
I think, I agree. I also agree with that. Yeah, I think obviously very much chose his path today. And I'm not, again, I think that's going to become an important part of the overall storyline, but the fact that adding in parts this late in the game is quite surprising for me. I remember we're episode 5 now. I mean, how many episodes are there in this series? Do we know?
Oh. Because there is going to be a break as well.
Oh, okay, so it's going to be quite a few then if that's the case. We're definitely not at the halfway mark.
I don't think we're that far away. Let's have a look.
But yeah, it just kind of feels like, I don't know. I mean, it's obviously going to be an important plot point that what happens to him. I won't go into too many spoilers, but obviously what happens to him in this episode.
It's a 15-episode season.
15 episodes, so we're further way through.
Yeah.
And they've introduced this sort of element to it. I mean, is the 15 episodes including the first 2 as well, though?
So look. I think it is.
Okay, because again, I'm not sure whether we're technically on episode 3 or 5 in terms of how they look at it, if that makes sense.
We are on episode 5. That's how it's billed as episode 5.
That's okay.
First 2 are the first 2 episodes. You've got the Vulcan Hello, Battle at the Binary Stars, Context is for Kings, The Butcher's Knife, Cares Not for the Lamb's Cry. These are mad titles. And then that's a really crazy one. Then Choose Your Pain.
Yeah, well, they're all lines from the actual show, aren't they?
Yes.
Titles. That's how they've titled them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, so obviously we had the moment with the tardigrade. Obviously, it's very obvious that he wasn't particularly happy about the situation, and Michael worked that out quite quickly, and obviously tried to put an end to it, but unfortunately...
Well, it didn't work out... Michael worked it out quite quickly, but of course, Captain wasn't there.
Captain.
So we had the acting captain.
Yes, and I mean, that whole captain thing, like... So, again, kind of going back to a previous plot point. So the whole captain situation just seemed like a bit of a useless plot point. I think it was literally there to make Saru stand on his own 2 feet.
Yes.
But the actual storyline with the captain himself, like him getting abducted, you could easily have just not had that in the show. You could have had him go, he's been abducted, and then they go and rescue him. The whole scenes with him on the ship just seemed like its own separate little story. That had no bearing on anything else that happens. I think at most we get a little bit of character development. We find out a little bit about the captain from it, about his past.
Yes, because he was at the Binary Stars battle,
Yes.
and the reason why his eyes are damaged is because of the explosion of his ship.
No, he wasn't at the battle. The other guy was at the battle. He was his ship. That happened a little bit later, apparently.
Oh, right. Yep. Sorry. Yes. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. The other guy, he was at the Battle of the Binaries.
Yes. Yeah. So obviously we had this weird sort of moment where they kind of had a little bit of exposition with him explaining why he's the way he is. But other than that, I mean, they could have put that anywhere. There was no reason for them to have this huge side quest for him to go on. The way he gets picked up
find out that way.
Yeah, like the way he gets picked up is really random. And if they were gonna do that, they should have made it a longer. I was surprised that he managed to break out of prison this soon.
Oh yeah, I know.
I thought they'd have it as a few episode story arc that would then obviously put Saru in a more difficult position over time.
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't fully explore it, so it kind of felt useless in a way because it was an insular storyline that happened in one episode, and it could have been so much more. But because of how it happened, there was no point in being there. They could have just done it some other way.
Could have done.
Yeah, there was so much more storyline they could have covered. It was.
But they've also got this introduction of a new character, Mud, as well.
Mm-hmm.
From what we saw of the trailers, he's going to be in it more though.
Yes.
Got to be.
Yeah, and he had a really weird introduction, didn't he? Like.
Yeah.
Again, obviously, I'm guessing this part is going to set up something later on, but everything so far just seems to be a massive setup.
Yeah,
we haven't got to the actual plot yet. So again, obviously, as you said, the lieutenant, so that the scientist on board, now has another plot to follow. Given him in this episode, that's now going to obviously expand further. But again, it's setting up his storyline. So everything that's happened before just seems to be just prequel after the prequel, if that makes sense.
Yeah, every episode seems to just be setting things up. You've got little bits where, like, the tardigrade.
Yeah, so the tardigrade arc is now being completed.
Yeah.
They finished that arc, but I don't feel like that was a big part of it. That was, I mean, and if anything, it was just kind of a nice little happy ending to this particular episode, like to this particularly dark episode. I felt like they had to do something like that because
it seemed like it was, I don't know, it was more for Michael's benefit, and then it moved on to also being the scientist because it's for his benefit as well. And then he did that injection of that stuff as well.
Yeah,
the DNA.
So obviously, I think more than anything, we're getting to the crux of why exactly this stuff isn't going to be in future series.
And I think this whole episode, where it's called Choose Your Pain, it was for everybody. You had the captain, and you had acting captain, you had Michael, you had the scientist.
Yeah. I mean, Saru and Michael seem to have reconciled to some extent.
Yes, which is good.
In a really difficult way. Obviously, again, she had to go against the grain in order to get what she needed to get out of everyone. But obviously they reconciled, and that's awesome. And
it was like, here's your prize. You can have the telescope.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and he was very much, okay, just shut the lid. It's like, didn't say like, no, I can't take it or anything like that. It's like, yeah, all right, then I'll have that.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to be so forthcoming over it, actually.
Yeah.
I was surprised. But yeah, I just don't know. This episode just seemed a bit weird to me. Like, I mean, I've been enjoying the series so far, and I can't say that I didn't enjoy this episode. I did enjoy the episode. But I'm still just a bit lost as to where we're meant to be going with it and where the storyline's going to be going.
I think what I might do before the next episode is actually rewatch the episodes.
Yeah,
maybe not the two prequel ones, because we already know that was all the setup.
Yeah.
For how the war apparently started, because we already know the Star Trek lore that there was a war between Federation and Klingon Empire.
Yes.
We already know that happens. This is like how it happened and what happened during that war.
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah. I might have to rewatch the episodes. I haven't done that, so it'd probably be a good idea to do that. Because I might now watch them, because quite often you watch something a second time, you may spot other things as well.
Yeah, I mean, I also feel like potentially it's a good idea for us to rewatch them through after it's all come out, because a lot of these series
Yes.
now, especially with Netflix, I mean, obviously we've had Stranger Things and we've all had those sort of things. They are very much written as a continuous storyline. Like, so in this case,
Yes.
it is a full 15-hour movie almost that's been cut up.
Yep.
Um, so I imagine it's going to look or feel better once you watch them in a big chunk, and you get a good idea. Once we know the end of it, I think we'll appreciate the middle more. But
Definitely.
right
Yeah.
now, I am really struggling to see what
It's.
the
I
arc of
think.
this is. I have
Yeah,
no
because it's a
idea. I
brand
mean,
new series as well, and it's trying
yeah,
to.
like I mean, the Klingon guy seems to have disappeared a little bit. Like I mean, we had his story last episode, where he
Yes.
got saved by the woman, and then he seems to have disappeared. But I still don't know what his game is. He's clearly meant to be not so much a bad guy, but he's meant to be the
Well,
antagonist.
yeah, they're trying to, because she said the best thing to do is try and get the other house. Was it 24 houses or something like that to be on
Yes,
his side?
yeah, but they're clearly antagonists.
So
They're
they're
clearly
going to
the
be
other
busy
side.
doing that.
Yeah,
So obviously, I think when we see him again, I don't. I hope they don't do it whether we see him again and like, oh, he's already
yeah. I'm hoping it's a struggle
got the
because
24 houses on the side. I would like to see
it's
what he has to do
yeah.
as
I mean, we've
well.
been told it's been over 1,000 years since the Klingons have been seen because it's so.
100.
Oh, is it 100 years? Sorry, overdoing
Yes.
it. But it's about 100 years since Klingons last been seen because they are so at each other's throat over everything. They pretty much wiped themselves
Yes.
out over it all, and
Yeah.
everyone thought that they'd been very much made extinct. So for him to come up and just go, yeah, no, it's cool, everyone's together, awesome. In like one episode, I'll be really unhappy with that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
hoping
would
that's not
be.
what happens, but I still don't understand what his storyline is. I don't know whether, I mean, are we thinking that potentially his storyline is to, um, like maybe he's not the bad guy? That's what I'm thinking. The other guy seems to be a bit more of an antagonist, the one that obviously took his crew.
Yes.
They're very much continuing the war without this guy who started it effectively.
Yeah.
Are we thinking they're going to unite 24 hours and he's actually going to stop the war? Is he going to be the sort of anti-hero in
I
this,
don't
maybe?
think so.
No, I mean,
No.
I don't see what the end game of this is going to be. There's obviously a reason why the Federation and the Klingons aren't at war with each other by the time we get to Next Generation.
Oh yeah,
Because they always talk about
it,
the Klingon war in past tense. It's definitely not happening when we
yeah.
get there. So why is it that that's the case when at the moment it seems like everything's just spiraling out of
Oh
control?
no, one of the things that helped was there was an episode in Next Generation that explained some of this that helped with the piece as well, and it was also in which film was it? Is it Search? It wasn't the Search for Spock. Voyage Home? No, I
Okay,
don't think it was that one. It was in one of the movies as well, where
they mention it.
it's all to do with the peace treaty and that, and
I mean,
that
like,
almost gets ruined.
I'm not imagining that it's gonna like it's. At no point does it seem to be a mutual peace in respect of it's very much a strained peace.
Yes.
Like at all times. I mean, even up to the J.J. Abrams films.
Oh, yeah.
Like the whole Klingon thing is like, no, we don't go there. Like it's not worth our time. We have a very.
Well, yeah, even throughout
It's more of a
the
ceasefire
next
than that.
generation and the things like that, that it was a strained piece, and it could easily be broken, I think, from the Klingon side.
From anyone's
Um,
side, I think. Like I mean, look at. I mean, if we go as far as Into Darkness, like it very much.
yeah, but the darkness is set before generations.
No, no, of course, I'm not saying that. What I mean is, obviously, with Into Darkness, we're very much sat at a period where the humans are about as warmongering as the Klingons, and it took one person to basically almost start a war with them.
Yeah. So the war. So there isn't a war then between the Federation Klingons, then, is there? With J.J. Abrams.
No, it's not. I think they were hinting at maybe it starting, but they didn't go full blown because obviously Beyond just basically brushes over everything that happened in Into Darkness and carries on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I'm not really sure. But yeah, they don't go to war with the Klingons in that one. It's just the way that it's put forward is that it's very much like this guy is
It's
building
like,
warships.
we're not supposed to go to we can't go into Klingon space. We
Yeah,
stay well away, and that just, if we have nothing to do with them, don't talk to them,
yeah. And this guy who
then it's
comes
all
into power
fine.
is very much like, well, if we can't live like this, it's very stupid that we are constantly a threat. So we may as well just nip them in the bud, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he wants to go in all guns blazing. However, he doesn't want to make it look like he's warmongering, so he tries to set up some sort of weird elaborate plan
Yes.
that doesn't quite pay off.
Which, yeah, and Captain Lorca, he's all like, oh, I was given all this power. So it's almost like he can go above admirals and actually not do as they say, but he has to do some things because that whole
Yeah,
meeting they had.
yeah. So effectively, as long as he does his job as Discovery, he can do whatever he wants. That's what it seems. So as long as he's available at their call, whatever they ask him to be, he's able to do whatever the hell he wants. Otherwise,
Yes.
obviously, as soon as that stops happening, I assume he loses that power, which is probably why he's so sort of why he was so pushy about getting the drive online, saving those people and that sort of things at the expense of anything else. He was so driven for that because he doesn't want to lose his command, which is fair enough. I mean, obviously, he's been given a very good thing.
This is the thing, and it's how people can change because this is war.
Yeah, I mean that's it. But it seems like I'm starting to like him more as a character. This episode brought out another side to him. Like, I mean, obviously when we watched it, I mean, so just so everyone knows,
I all thought, yes.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, we actually watched this episode together, like sat together, and Em pretty much was convinced that he was going to leave the other guy behind. I won't go into too much detail, but she thought he was going to literally go to the ship and disappear.
Yeah,
but he doesn't. He can't. He doesn't just come back. He saves his life.
He does.
And in the story he tells, obviously it sounds horrible about obviously his last command, and the reason that he lost his crew wasn't because he abandoned ship, it's because he knew that he was in a position to save them from something far worse than death.
Yes.
So he killed them in a horrible way, and obviously he's suffering for it because he has the eye condition now, which we've got more information on. Because obviously we said before, didn't we, that it didn't make any sense because that was very much brushed over. He's like, I have an eye condition. We didn't see anything else.
But now we know how
that happened
and why he doesn't get it corrected. Yes. That's the whole thing. I don't trust doctors, which I think is quite funny. It's kind of like a throw to Bones, where I don't trust transporters. Everyone's got something they don't trust.
And again, obviously, it goes back to the whole choose your pain thing as well, doesn't it? Like he has this as a constant reminder of the whole thing, in the same way that Michael has herself being a martyr as a constant reminder of what she's done.
Yeah.
So I think it's very much, I don't know. I feel like with him as a character, I'm starting to like him more because he's not a bad guy. It's quite clear he's not a bad guy. He's just very set in his goals.
Yeah.
He very much knows what he wants to do. He's in a position where he's struggling to maintain his power balance because he knows he's in a good position to end this war. However, he's still at the beck and call of Starfleet. So he's kind of on this knife.
He's in his element as well because this is war. It's just something that just drives him.
Yeah, it drives him, but he's obviously in a position where he's on a bit of a knife's edge. That's all I can say really about his character. Like he seems like he's very much in control of everything to his crew, but I think behind the scenes, and we saw a bit of it today, I think he's very much struggling to keep the status quo going between what he wants to do with the Discovery and what Admiral wants to do with it.
Yes.
So yeah,
he's been told to fall back a bit because the Klingons have got on to the fact that their ship can move very fast.
Well, instantaneously.
They want that technology.
I also think they've touched on it today that this doesn't just have the idea. It's not just about traveling. This apparently has the idea of almost time travel in a weird way.
Yes.
The idea of being in multiple places at once. So it's quite clear that the way it works is slightly
instead of the old slingshot yourself around the sun so you go fast enough.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously we haven't seen 2 Discoveries, for instance.
No.
So I'm not sure how this works. I'm not sure if it's just an organic situation. Although saying that, we didn't see 2 tardigrades either.
No, we didn't.
So I'm not sure how this is going to work out.
And I'm not sure about the whole graphic, how it does it, because the whole ship spins round, and then the saucer set spins on its own separately, and then it looks like it disappears, and then when it goes to other places, it looks like it's going down. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it should just appear, not. It should already be there. Yeah,
I'm struggling with it. I am struggling with it.
Yeah,
it still looks like they're apparating. Okay, so we just go like final thoughts, just sort of.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget the end as well. That was a little bit creepy. He was still his reflection was still in the mirror.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. I don't want to go. Obviously, I don't want to spoil too much of it.
Oh, I
But
think I
yeah.
have now.
Oh yeah, but quite clearly, this thing has, as I said, it has a thing of an element of time travel to it,
Yes.
which is I find really bizarre because they haven't touched on this before. I mean, not so much time travel, but the idea of being, as I said, being in two places at once.
Yeah.
Um,
Because it's always been about warp speed and
I suppose
going
they've kind
beyond
of touched on it. 'Cause
warp
obviously,
10.
I'm assuming when Michael was in the tube, like the first proper episode, when
Yes.
Lorca's showing it to her, and obviously he's telling her where she is at any given time. I'm assuming she doesn't
Yeah.
leave the tube. I'm assuming he sees her in there the whole time. So maybe it is a case of being in two places at once. And maybe that is what the tardigrade's doing when he's like. So the idea is like you kind of use
I don't know,
yourself as a
because
beacon.
we haven't seen two of anything.
No, but
so...
what I'm wondering is if they transport themselves. So if they kind of, so you're stood in this glass case, but you transport yourself to the place you're going, and use yourself as a beacon for the ship to transport back, like transport to you. I wonder if that's how it works. So you create two of yourself in order to do it. However, the malfunction is that in the case of this, it seems like they haven't got rid of the other person.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure,
I
because
don't
the weird
know.
thing about it is, as you said,
sure, there's going to be more on this. Yeah.
It was in the mirror. Like, I mean, maybe we're
Yeah.
going into like the realm of different dimensions and stuff. I don't really know, but it was a bit bizarre. I'm not
Yeah.
sure on it. I'm hoping they explained it a little bit better.
Yeah. Because there was nothing like this in the Star Trek lore that I've
No,
seen.
I think they've definitely ripped up the book on Star Trek lore a little bit. Star Trek lore's always been it's always set in the realms of reality to some extent. There's always been some
Yes.
sort of mathematical equation behind it or some sort of scientific ideology behind it. It's why a lot of people enjoy it more than, for instance, Star Wars, because Star Trek sits in the realms of possibility. If we're able to
Yes.
find the right sort of elements and the right way of doing things, it's possible. So I feel like this series has very much pushed the boundary of that to the limit.
Straight away from the beginning.
Yeah,
Oh my
I feel
gosh.
like it's very much pushing that to its absolute breaking point. So I'm kind of umming and ahhing about whether or not this is going to work itself out.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's not a case of at the end of it, it's like, oh yeah, we wrote it in and then took it out because we knew it wasn't scientifically accurate, but like we just wanted a good story. It's like, that's not always important.
No.
Like when it comes to Star Trek, people expect it to be at least researched correctly, but we'll see. Maybe they will explain it. Maybe it will be something genuine. I don't know, but it just seems a bit far fetched. I mean, I study science, and that's a bit weird. Right. So, final thoughts.
I'm still not 100% sure about the series. I think it's going to be better once we've got a good chunk of episodes and watch them all in one go. But this episode is very dark. But I did like the whole thing with choose your pain, and it didn't apply just to one person. It was several people this applied to. I like that.
Cool. I feel the same. I was very warm to the series at the beginning. It's starting to cool off a little bit now because I'm starting to get a little bit lost in the story itself.
Yeah.
But this episode, again, as you said, it was dark. But then, to be fair, last week's episode was dark as well. There's quite a lot.
That's only because I didn't turn the lights on.
Yeah. Well. But there were quite a few dark elements in last week's episode. And to be fair,
I
the
suppose,
week before
yeah.
that as well. So, I mean, we still got that horror scene aboard the Glen, remember? I mean, that was pretty... I mean, that's beyond anything I've ever seen in Star Trek. So, yeah, there are...
Oh, yes. Also, if you don't like swearing...
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so that's definitely got to be a new thing for Star Trek.
Yeah. It's only been done once, and that was with Data.
Right.
And that was Star Trek Generations.
Yeah.
That was the film.
Mm-hmm. I did feel like the swearing kind of came out of nowhere. It was very funny, though. I will say that.
It was
I did
funny.
laugh at it.
Yeah.
It just seemed a bit... It really did jar me, though.
Yeah.
Like, really jarred me. So that was a bit out of kilter. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I think we've achieved some of that. We definitely stayed more on target than we did last week.
I think we have, yes. Possibly due to the fact that there's nobody in my chat as well. So we have no time going, oh, hello, you. Oh, hello, this.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. Yeah. I'm going to watch the Wonder Woman now.
Oh, I think I might do the same.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wonder
guys.
Woman!
Well, thanks for
Sorry.
joining us. Obviously, this will be straight up on the channel after you've seen this. Remember to hit the like and subscribe. You may see at the top of my stream that I have a little subscribe bar. I'm trying to reach 100 subs by Christmas, hopefully.
Yes.
That's my plan. So
Please show our channel some love. So, Widget Club's after 100. I'm after a slightly higher goal. It was initially a joke between me and my other half, but now I'm like, maybe I could try it and get 1,000 by the end of the year. I'm not sure if it's going to happen.
Do it.
But
just subscribe. Just do it.
Yeah, just do it for the sake of it. It'd be funny.
Yes. Prove some people wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching, and
Yep,
we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.